Can anything measure up to successes of the past? This thought crossed my mind as the last Super Bowl kicked off. I grew up a fervent Boston sports fan. The Patriots' success from the early 2000s up through 2020 gave me a constant excitement and sense of community. I watched every highlight reel, listened to every sports talk show on the radio, stayed up to midnight to buy tickets. But as the Pats were embarrassed this year with an entirely new team and coaching staff, I wondered, would a Super Bowl win this year give me that same feeling of joy of the others in the past? I didn't reach a conclusion that night, but now, after a month of Bungie's new shooter Marathon being on the market, I've come to revisit it. You see, during those highs of being a Boston sports fan, I had another obsession throughout those 20 years. Bungie FPS games. I went to every Halo midnight release in my Tom Brady and Randy Moss jersey. I competed in MLG LAN events on Sundays of Super Bowl seasons. And I even did a complete run of Vault of Glass right before the Malcolm Butler interception in 2014. This trend continued to now, and Bungie games have been a large part of my life throughout each stage from childhood to adolescence to adulthood, and now as a father. I'm the ultimate hardcore FPS player, quote-unquote sweat, that Marathon was aimed for. Which leaves me on the fence about it. I'm supposed to be obsessed with this game. So am I? Or do the ghosts of Bungie's past games leave me wanting more? Is Marathon a good game? Here are my thoughts after 1 month. Marathon does very well with its environments, visuals, and extraction shooter concept. The maps are beautiful with some of the classic Bungie sci-fi mystery, which keeps me wondering, what's behind this locked door? What's the overall mystery of the Marathon and Toss City? Without spoilers, the lore is all very well done. I don't particularly like the art style as much as I did Halo and Destiny, but it's extremely well done with my preferences aside. Bungie knocked it out of the park with the sound design as well. Audio is crucial for hearing footsteps and dictating encounters in this type of shooter. But even the ambient audio of metal creaking from 100-year-old abandoned ships and the hiss from the cryocoolant are some of the best in the industry in terms of sound design, and it's showcased extremely well here. They are also embracing the roots of an extraction shooter, for better or worse. This genre is unforgiving, and Marathon does stick to those roots without too many Arc Raiders-esque elements to avoid PvP or have less PvP interactions. When you're in a run and see another runner, it's rare to have a friendly interaction. It's very much a PvP-centric game at its core, with the risk of losing all of the gear in your backpack looming with each run. This genre of game tends to be a love or leave it in the space, but I applaud them to stick into their vision on this. I do think it ends up being held back by the game's core combat feel and social features. Bungie games are special to me because of the combat. Halo had a beautiful dance of strafing and aim mechanics that made each gunfight special and interesting due to the skill gap at the core of the gameplay loop. Destiny did much the same with their PvP, just with abilities thrown in the mix. Marathon takes a departure in that gone are the high time to kill engagements, where the right time circle strafe or jump makes your opponent miss while securing you the victory with better aim. Marathon has a much slower movement speed, stamina mechanic, and a faster time to kill, which compresses the skill gap of all of these engagements and interactions that I love. Combat often boils down to whoever orchestrated the best gotcha moment, where you get the drop on your opponents without much chance of turning the engagement around for a reversal, or engagements where close quarter weapons and thrown equipment spam reigns supreme along with the runner ability cooldowns. There are examples of both of these main combat scenarios in this video, and I just don't find them to be as fun or as deep on a skill requirement level as the past Bungie titles. For better or worse, fights are often dictated by the equipment one has in their backpack, namely who can throw down the most equipment in grenades or bubble shields, who has the most powerful close quarters combat weapon with enough ammo, or who has enough heals to prolong and stall the fight and win a battle of attrition. None of these are true skillful gameplay elements of more arena shooters where the best movement and aim wins, but I suppose that comes along with the genre. I think Marathon would be more fun and interesting if the time to kill was longer, precision weapons were more impactful, and movement speed increased for better strafing outplay potential. I can see where these changes could break the extraction shooter gear and core concept, so that may just come with the territory. But for me, and I imagine other arena and battle royale players, These core mechanics in Marathon aren't as satisfying. Moments intended to be nerve-wracking adrenaline boosts of combat to survive and loot your enemies, or lose all you've scavenged, fall flat to me when so much of the interactions don't come down to who had the best aim and movement, but rather who had more bubble shields, grenades, heals, or other consumables in their backpacks. I get no feeling of immense satisfaction shotgunning a runner in the back that I heard rooms over looting. And I don't yearn for one more run after crouch walking through Pinwheel, only to SMG a thief down who had no clue I was there as they were looting. Bungie does do a great job of weaving the PvP and PvP elements together in their maps masterfully. Outpost and Cryo Archive are very well done. And as someone who consistently completed all in-game content in Destiny and loved the PvE elements, I wanted nothing more than to do the same completionist playthrough with Marathon. However, this game was definitely made for trios in mind first and foremost, and if you don't have a dedicated Marathon squad, you'll likely be left refreshing Discord LFG servers, playing squad fill as a toss-up if you'll have a random with a gray shield on in-game maps, or playing solo. I'm the odd man out in my Destiny group, which means I've been opting for the Discord and solo fill methods. In-game map squad fills resulting in a frustrating experience of toss-ups with teammates and limited success. It's also a large time commitment to refresh Discord servers looking for a group in a game with an already small player base, and sadly myself, and I imagine many others, don't have the time to do that. It doesn't feel great to spend 15 to 20 minutes of a 1.5 hour gaming session just looking for a team, only for it to disband after one run or one failed run. Solos, on the other hand, plays much like an afterthought. Due to the nature of extraction shooters, solo matches devolve into corner camping while sound whoring, which plays out like a frustrating but also boring survival horror mode. I hope that there can be some answer to these social feature problems, but I'm not sure what. Skill-based matchmaking is a divisive topic, and their rank mode has already shown a slew of issues. And adding new modes to potentially attract more players could backfire and water down current offerings with increased queue times and splitting the player base. What I do know is I find myself questioning why I'm spending so much time looking for teams to play this game with, when I can hop over to Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, or Halo Infinite to get the most out of my playtime while enjoying the combat experience more. As of recording this, the game seems to already be at a crossroads as population numbers continue to drop week over week. Complaints about skill differentials, matchmaking, and gear disparity are starting to become hot topics. I don't doubt that Bungie will try and remedy these problems in some way, so we'll see if that helps when they eventually do. The thought of going through a reset with new seasons every 3 months does make me question if there will be a player base left after those happen. I don't believe I want to go through the same contract progressions and engage with the core game doing it all over again, especially if I have to do it solo, looking for more Discord groups, or with fills. I appreciate and acknowledge the quality of development that has gone into Marathon. It is a good game and has some amazing aspects for Bungie's take on an extraction shooter. I have no doubt that they'll gather feedback, make updates, and continue to refine the game to be the very best that it can be. I want nothing more than for the studio to be successful and have years worth of content for the games they develop. I don't know where this leaves Bungie given their recent years. I hope they're able to continue forward with support for Marathon and future Destiny releases. I would love for both of these games to be supported and popular by the time my daughter takes an interest in gaming, hopefully. So does Marathon live up to the excitement, fun, and decades of success of past Bungie titles? That remains to be seen over the coming months. But I do know I never had to try and convince myself that I liked Halo or Destiny.
Yeah, he got up.
There's another team.
Can't see anything. Smoke.